Hey guys, I'm doing a live. It's a little later in the day than I normally hop on, but you know, what is time anymore? So anyways, I remember one time someone asked if I could do something metallic or how do you paint metallics, and I was having a hard time describing it. So I am going to paint something I'm pretty familiar with, but it's just a tube of lipstick, and I thought this would be good because it has dimension to it, and then it has metallic, and then it has black, which is also a color, or yeah, a color I've heard people struggle with painting. They're like, how do I get highlights on black? But anyways, so I thought I'd paint through that. Maybe I'll talk as I go, or I can talk after. But yeah, I'm painting with acrylics. I'm painting on let's see, Strathmore acrylic paper that I've just taped off and primed with cadmium orange medium shade. So yeah, thanks for being here. And I've mentioned this before, but I don't paint with black on my palette, but I do have some shortcuts that I can get to a pretty dark black color if I need to. One of them that I find really good, especially something I'm trying to read as black, is Hooker's Green with a little bit of alizarin crimson. That gets pretty dark pretty quick, so I'm doing that. And I don't want it to be blackest black. I want it to maybe be just a notch above the darkest value, just so I always have space to go down. Same with doing like a lighter value. I always want to have space to move if I need to. And instead of adding just white to this dark color I've mixed up, I'm leaning into yellow to kind of highlight it. It always kind of depends on the black that you're painting, but it kind of gives, it makes the black look lit without washing it out and making it just look chalky or like blue. And all I did was I added some ochre and cadmium yellow and a little bit of orange to that black color, and that's how I got this, like the shadow of a gold. It's truly a little more neutral, but I don't mind it falling a little bit more browny for now. I can always bring the value up, but I'm thinking that this is going to be my darkest value for my gold. I just added some cadmium yellow light to it, and it's pulling a little bit too green. And to neutralize it, I'm going to try to add some orange, or you could add red in, and it kind of brings it back. So I'm trying to find that color and value that's just one notch up from this dark. A lot of ochre, yellow ochre in this. Notice that I'm not blending. It's very tempting with the metallics to blend. but I feel like if you make really solid color choices, you don't really need to do that. So I do need a smaller brush. Yeah, I switched down to a, let's see, a 2. Yeah, cool. I think that's, yeah, that's good. I'm going to call it anyways. But I hope that was helpful. It's, I don't know if you watched the whole way through, but it's a ton of just like, I don't know how to think about it other than like a dialogue between the subtle values. So if I show you kind of what I was mixing, it's a lot of like hooker's green, yellow ochre, and then their opposites. So, you know, green would be like a red or cadmium orange, just to kind of pull it. And then I always, to kind of keep it looking like a palette, with the exception of the border, you know, I even use some of this hooker's green to bring down the value in this, you know, red brick lipstick color. So it's all about like layering and pulling through the palette, and then taking breaks and I don't know if you, but I really tried to hold off on the highlights for as long as possible. And that's not because I'm immune from being seduced by the shiny, shiny spots, but because I've messed up a million paintings or not messed up, but I've set myself back from painting the highlights on things too early. So I really have to prove to myself while I'm painting that I'm ready for the highlight. You know, they don't always come together this smooth. I've painted a bunch of lipsticks, so it's starting to become formulaic to me now. Like, I'm starting to know kind of what I'm looking for. So I was able to put them on there, but I've gone back and forth and worked on paintings for days before I even put a highlight on anything, even if I thought it was finished. So yeah, a lot of back and forth. That's it with the tape off, but yeah, that was fun. I had people ask when I posted the paintings of lipsticks to show how I constructed them, and then I also had someone ask about painting metallics, and then someone asked about painting blacks, and I was like, I'm just gonna do this whole thing, and it'll hopefully make sense to someone. But I'm gonna save it to my stories. Let me see if I can find any questions that are kind of pertinent to the painting, and then I'm gonna hop off. My 4-year-old just got up from his nap, or quiet time most likely. But let's see, I'll also save the picture. I might post it on my main account, but I'll definitely post it in my stories. The brands I used, acrylic, let's see, yeah, it's acrylic paint, so it's Golden and Liquitex Heavy Body, the professional series. And then the parchment paper, it's actually just freezer paper. And I use it because it's white, and so it's easier to see what I'm mixing. And it's more visible, but yeah, off-brand freezer paper works just fine. Let's see. Someone said talent. It's not talent, I promise. It's years of work. I've painted one painting a day for 4.5 years plus 3 years of college. Like, I did not start out being able to do anything. Like, I need to make a post one day where I show like my early paintings. They're like anyone else's. You guys are cute. Let's see. What size brushes am I using? I started out with I'm using all brights and flats, but I started out with a 12 bright. I think I moved down to a 10, an 8 for most of it. Most of the painting was done with an 8. And then I used a 2 and eventually this little guy, what is it, a 0, this guy. So, but the bulk of it was done with that 8, I think. I tried to hang on to one size for as long as possible. I've said this before, but if you switch down too early, that's a really quick way to make your paintings look overworked. So as hard as it is, it's easier to deal with a big bulky brush than it is to try to remedy a fussy overworked painting, because you're going to have to paint over everything anyway. So yeah, that's a little tip. Let's see what colors. I have a highlight saved on my stories. I think it's kind of far back, but I go over every color on my palette in a little more detail. I think I just have photos of it, so if you're curious, you can go check that out. Yeah, I think I'm glad this was satisfying to watch. I was wondering, because I've worked through those before, that it would be a little bit, like, it would be easier to do on camera, so I'm glad it was fun to watch. Yeah, hi Asia. Yeah, Asia did buy one of my lipstick paintings. So fun. Thank you. Let's see, go to the very end. When did you start to paint? In college. So my first painting class was my sophomore year of college. Yes, and I kind of was hooked. I had an amazing painting professor who, his whole thing was everyone can teach. There's no such thing as talent. Put in the work and you'll be good. And I just like clung to that philosophy, because I didn't start out good. I didn't start out, painting anything I was happy with, but I was like, you know what, if I stick with it, okay, I can get better. Yeah, someone said, I want to take lessons from you. I am working on a curriculum right now as we speak. It's part of why I got on late. And it's going to be a still life class online, and it's going to be broken down into little videos, and you guys can go through at your own pace. So I'm really excited to launch that probably this summer, realistically, but yeah, I'm hoping to share what I know. Like I said, my whole thing is like, you don't have to be talented. You just have to have the practice, and like, it's really a certain set of like understanding how to mix colors. Once you kind of get that like anyone can paint. I really believe it. So it's really beginner friendly, but if you're kind of mid-level artist, you'll get some stuff from it too. So yes. Yeah, and it was, and someone said it happened really quick. I've had practice painting these. I think if this was my first time painting a lipstick, it probably would have taken me double the time. But because I've already painted lipsticks several times, it came together a lot quicker. When I do live paints, I try to choose paintings that I already kind of know where it's going to go beginning. Like one thing I think I'm going to do with these lives in the morning is I'm going to switch to, I want to do a series of videos, either lives or whatever, start to finish on a big, like, legit piece of art. So I'm working on a landscape series right now. And so, I don't know, tell me what you guys think, but I thought about having you guys follow me from how I select the photo to how I then put it in Photoshop and play with the photo, how I then draw it in, what that looks like, and, all of those. It takes a lot longer, but I thought that might be more helpful to maybe some more advanced painters. So it's something I'm kicking around just because there's only so many hours in a day and I have to work on that series. So I thought I'd videotape it. But yeah, that was fun. Thanks for watching. Sorry my timing was off. I try to do it in the morning, but what is life? So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, thanks for being here. Bye.